All right, so there's a rollerblading and skateboarding collab.
It's over, he did it! He did it!
What happened?
Sir, he did it, sir!
Julio.
Did it!
Did what?
He ended the war!
Between rollerbladers and skateboarders. Woo! Is this it? Is this the big turning point? Are we all pals now? We're getting over the past and like just looking towards the future and stuff like that? Maybe, like, could be. But for now, I'm just going to go over the products that were released, the story behind how the collaboration came to be, the references and the influences on the designs, and sort of a little bit of controversy.
That'd be super gay if they were blades, dude. Are those blades?
I'm not. You guys are tripping. These work perfect.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
And unlike McNamara, I'll be crediting the right people.
The owner of Weekend Skateboards on there, Ian Mesmer.
Hang a bell.
Is it not Grant Yansura that started Weekend Skateboards? As you almost definitely know by now, them skates and Weekend Skateboards have a collaboration collection, which they guarantee has not been done before. I'd say that was like a fairly safe bet. Like, I actually think if people were going to put a bet on the next collab, it would have been more likely to be like Moxie roller skates or something like that. In my head, it was probably more likely they were going to do a collab with like Walls Viennetta.
Walls Viennetta. One slice is never enough.
Even biscuits or something, because they've got like the coffee mugs and that. Nice bit of coffee and them skates biscuit to go with it. That makes perfect sense to me. Nothing like a whole packet of Lotus Biscoff to get you like up and ready to go skating. So in the collection, you've obviously got a 909 skate, you've got the 80s skate, you've got 3 skateboards that I've seen so far. When the skates leaked the other week, I've seen a few comments from people saying like, well, is there actually going to be any skateboards though? Like, I don't think they're going to put a rollerblade on a skateboard. I mean, they did. 3 times. Funny, the site that leaked them was trying to pretend they were discounting them as well. Looks like there's a ruck of clothing, there's t-shirts, jumpers, hoodies, a pair of jeans, man. They've also got beanies, and they've got a water bottle as well. They're not holding back, are they? They're going absolutely all in, man. I'm surprised it's not like a tin pencil case or a lunchbox. Why didn't they make a tie? That would have been sick. Like a smart tie, man. Stroll into it.
Oh, that's an interesting tie.
Them skates and Weekend Skateboards, mate. You know, I do work, but in my spare time, I like to rollerblade or skateboard. There's also an edit to come which premiered the other day on the 3rd of November. I'll go into the details of the collection in a little bit. First, let's start with how on earth this collaboration even came about. So this is the story of them skates, Weekend Skateboards, and it all starts with Jordan Taylor.
Alright lad, I'm Jordan Taylor, I skate for Weekend Skateboards. Yeah, I'm banging, so watching the scooter riders and the bladers, like, Thrasher did a whole thing on it.
So June last year, Thrasher caught up with Jordan Taylor just to like hang about with him, work out what he gets up to on a day-to-day basis, spend a little bit of time with him. He talks about getting inspired by other sports like scooter riding or blading, mostly inspiration for like, you know, tricks or spots or just like your approach and perspective on things. During the video, he goes for a session with a scooter rider called Devin, and he's also seen watching John Bolino.
Yeah, as you would have seen, I skate with Scooter Devon and that. Like, been watching a bit of that Bolino as well, man. He's fair handy on them rollerblades, so I thought I'd reach out to him. Hi, I'm John Bolino, yeah. Then, Jordan bloke gave us a ring, and, so I called up Parker. I was like, do you fancy it? And he was like, yeah, so, me and Parker went for a skate with him. I mean, he's given us gear and everything. Look, this Loosey tee. The boys are sound, lad. We hit it off straight away, so I started hooking them and Brosco up with a little bit of the Loosey clobber. That's my brand, you know.
At the end of last year, Bolino and Parker were in a Loosey edit called Team Building Exercises. You've got them skating around in a car park, bumping off a shopping trolley, also a little bit of action down in the ditch. Jordan's obviously involved, and so is another skateboarder called Toby Bennett, who actually skates for Weekend as well. And more recently, again, both Bolino and Parker were involved in a Loosey advert. Clearly they've got a good relationship with Jordan, and there's the link between Weekend and them skates.
Hi, I'm Parker. I rollerblade. Yes, I've met Jordan a few times. He's a lovely chap, and we had a thought shower, because you can't say brainstorm anymore. We had a thought shower about how our brands could work more closely together, and we were like, let's let's just get our bosses together and see what happens, yeah.
And that's how the collaboration was born. The actual quote in the press release is, Grant, yeah, I don't know, we both skate like. John, true. Simple as that. That's all it took. Took a skateboarder, getting in contact with a rollerblader, hanging out, having a chat and going, should we do this or what? And that's it. Like, all those years of hurt. No more need for dreaming. Throw them in the bin, man. It's over. Like, we've done it. Like, it's just gonna be bright. It's just gonna be hugs, hugs and grinds from here on out.
The war is over!
So Grant Yansura is the mind behind Weekend Skateboards. He kicked that all off in 2013 when he had a vision. We need an outlet for our fun and silly video ideas because there's no other place for them. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, it's always easy to say that after the person's done it. Lots of people have ideas and then think, oh yeah, I'm gonna try it, and then it doesn't go anywhere. But it did work this time. I believe the fun and silly videos are a big part of the reason why Weekend Skateboards are so popular. Like, not only is the team full of great skaters, they're just not afraid to have a laugh as well and be a bit silly, but that actually never compromises the skating. They've got a really good balance of things, and massive respect to how much effort they put into the silly side of things, man. They go all out for it. It's not just somebody wearing like a silly wig for one clip or something. Kinda reminiscent of a city life in the rollerblading world.
Weekend Skateboards aren't your typical skateboard company. They don't take themselves too seriously. They're not like the old guard that, you know, hate rollerblading and want to make fun of it.
That'd be super gay if they were blades, dude.
They're not like the old guard.
Well, sort of. They're not like a completely innocent party, but we do have to like reach back 9 years where there's a video of the Weekend team poking fun at rollerblading. This is actually maybe possibly inspired by Arlo's rant about having rollerbladers film in the X Games but then not having them in the promo for the X Games.
He's apologizing for the fact that there's going to be an inliner on the course getting this follow cam footage. So no mention in the commercials, no mention in the little teaser tape, but the first time that this guy's going to mention inline in front of a room of his entire staff and with me sitting there and Mark Shea sitting there, he's apologizing for my sport.
Then it all went right down the drain. I mean, it's not great, but it's definitely not the worst thing in the world. Like, it was 9 years ago. I'm sure there's parts of it that they're a bit like, oh my God, that is like a bit cringy, that is bad. Wish we kind of never said those things. But like, they're definitely a different company now, and they've definitely like changed their mindset, and at least they're like, you know, trying to do something by pushing through with this. Imagine if this was all just one big joke. I don't know if I could knock them really for it, because there's a heck of a lot of effort for a joke, man.
Got him! Got him!
Both the skates come in a sharp, very sharp orange. Kind of reminds me of when Shima dyed his Razor Colts orange. Like, there's clips of him riding them in Black Market. Seems to be quite a heavy 90s influence throughout the whole collection, which makes sense because that kind of thing's trending right now. And also maybe that, you know, that's where all the beef and the problems started, wasn't it? It's in the 90s. Both of the skates, some of the clothing, and one of the decks has this dog on it. He's got a pair of rollerblades on, he's carrying a skateboard. This image is a reference to and influenced by an old Jinko jeans design. One of the skateboards, a bunch of the clothing and accessories, and the 909 sole plates have a bunch of Coca-Pelli skaters on them. Some of them are on skates, some of them are on skateboards. They're all just hanging out and having a nice time. Having a nice little natter about like, oh yeah, should we go to this sport? I reckon this is pretty good. Oh, check out this one that I've skated a few times before. Probably chatting about like, who's the best vert skater? Is it like Bobby Burnquist or is it like Takeshi Yasutoko? I don't know exactly what brand came up with this Coca-Pelli character originally, but I have seen it used on this San Diego jumper from the 90s. Fairly interesting reference, a little bit of history on it. Coca-Pelli was like a fertility deity, often like depicted with like a bit of a hunchback and like playing a flute with like feathers in his hair. He would have been overlooking and in charge of things like childbirth and like agriculture, and apparently he'd play his flute to chase away the winter and like welcome on the spring. He wants to come over here with the rest of his bandmates. Get the band up and running, man, because the rain has been biblical, man. Weather's been awful. Seen a fox surf along the side of the street the other day on a like Domino's box, man. You can actually even see a Coca Pelli and a Walter White scaff in Breaking Bad. I've seen a few people saying that putting graphics on the sole of the skate was just ripping off Mesmer, and that like they shouldn't have done it, they should have left that well alone. But I mean, like, Mesmer definitely get like the credit for doing it first in rollerblading, but it's a collaboration with a skateboard brand. Like, the skateboard industry is known for having graphics on the deck, like the soul of the skateboard, so to speak. So be a bit of a miss if they didn't actually do that, do you know what I mean?
How on earth did he miss that?
Kind of a hard argument to say they shouldn't have done it. I mean, one of the complaints about the Clark collaboration was that there wasn't enough going on. Now there's a fair bit going on, you'd be like, oh, hang about, like, somebody's already done that, you can't do that.
Damn, I wish I had them.
You can't win. On the third board, you've got a cartoon of a blader and a skateboarder with the slogan, "Leave me alone."
Leave me alone.
Little bit angsty, that one. Is that trying to say like, oh yeah, we're sick of being bullied, man, just like leave us alone? That? Or is it that, like, you know, some people do a bit of both, do a bit of skateboarding, do a bit of rollerblading, it doesn't really matter, that's just the crack these days. And it's like slightly mental that you would direct so much anger towards somebody who just does like a different sport to you. We calling it a sport or a hobby or whatever, yeah. Pretty mad that you can get so like psycho about it. Not sure if he was involved in all of the designs, but he was definitely involved in aspects of it, including like one of the boards, and definitely a t-shirt I've seen is Sympathy Dropout, so shout out to him, man. It's his artwork on the poster for the video, like I mentioned before, that took place on the 3rd. Looked like it was really well attended, man. Looks like it's absolutely chock-a-block. Really looking forward to seeing it. There was a fair few rollerbladers who were a little bit unsure about the whole collaboration, like, you know, due to the conflicts of the past between rollerbladers and skateboards, which, you know, in the past it has turned pretty nasty, and like people have gotten into fights and all sorts of stuff like that, and there's been a lot of abuse, and kind of you still see glimmers of it today. Like, there was one kind of slightly perplexing comment. As a business tactic, skateboarding wrecked the rollerblading industry with homophobic slurs and violence towards rollerbladers. Now that they ran action sports into the ground and rollerblading is cool again, they want to ride the coattails. I think it's better to stay differentiated as businesses, as they have nothing to offer rollerblading as an industry. They are stale and dying, while rollerblading has another chance to start fresh and be the next big thing. What are you actually talking about? Definitely some truth to the first bit, but the rest is a swing and a miss, isn't it? Coattails. Coattails? How many pro rollerbladers actually make a living off of rollerblading? How many are are full-time and earning a decent wage in comparison to skateboarding? Which industry do you think's healthier? A specific example within this collaboration of audience sizes, like Weekend Skateboards has 115,000 followers. Them Skates has 77,000. Weekend clearly have a bigger reach. Outside of this specific collaboration, another example would be that like Palace just did a collaboration with Gucci.
Palace Gucci is here.
I know them Skates just did a collaboration with Clark's, but a collaboration with Gucci is ridiculously big. Even if like you don't like it, and I know like a fair few people in skateboarding aren't that like chuffed about it, but that is massive.
Jungle is massive.
They have nothing to offer rollerblading. I mean, bar the bigger reach and different audience, which I've just talked about, also offers like a chance, a possibility to move away from like the homophobic slurs and all the hate and all that like horrible stuff in the past. I mean, you can like push against it still, but all you're then doing is reinforcing the narrative that like we just can't get along and like things should stay separate. How's that? That's not going to make things any better, is it? Like,
Stay over there!
there's an opportunity here to make things a little bit easier for people coming up. Like, mostly you'd say it was older heads that like are a serious problem. They're the ones that like cause a conflict or have like serious opinions about like the difference between the two sports and stuff like that. And then it's occasionally like a misguided kid who thinks that like, oh, I'm a skateboarder, I have to hate rollerblading. But if this exists, at least there's like a chance you might change a few minds there, like tiny little bit of education to go like, yeah, it doesn't really matter like which one you do both if you really want.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
We're definitely not just going to be all mates all of a sudden. Like, you're not going to go out for your next session and like half the people there are going to be skateboarders as well, and they You're like, yeah, I've seen that collaboration, mate. It's all over. Like, let's just go and have a skate together and stuff like that. No, man. Everywhere in the world there's divs, like there's divs in skateboarding, and there's definitely plenty of divvies in rollerblading as well, man. They are stale and dying, while rollerblading has another chance to start fresh and be the next big thing. What? Catch up, mate. That ship has well and truly sailed, like. By rollerblading being the next big thing. That ship is so old, I've seen somebody steal the whole bow of the boat, like. Sold it for scrap metal, mate. The next big thing, that Street Wolf bike you've had banged up in storage, ready for the day it becomes the next big thing again. Yeah, it's actually been nicked, mate. Jimmy the Sock is licking the batteries from the thing. It's over. Has anything ever been the next big thing twice? Isn't it normally like something that's brand new? Rollerblading's not new. But that's actually like a good thing, man. We've got like a little bit of history behind us now, like a little bit of wisdom and stuff. We've got our own styles, our own things going on. Interestingly, I actually seen an article on a skateboarding site saying that skateboarding was cashing in. What? You'd hope that any business decision would bring you in like more revenue and like a bit more cash. But skateboarding is definitely the more lucrative market.
What up, AD? I'm Nigel Houston. Welcome to my home. Come on in.
Oi, you! Shut your mouth and look at my wad! Loads of money!
You're not going to retire off a collaboration with a rollerblading brand. From what I've seen of the skateboard sides of things, there was like 1 or 2 comments about like rollerblades over waxing things and that we should still hate it and stuff like that. But the majority was just like, yeah, that's totally stupid. Like, why would we hate rollerblading? Like, that's just like completely outdated view. I mean, that's like skate tribalism from the 90s where, you know, they were just dictated to hate it. I've seen this one interesting comment that was like, hating on blading is kooky, like especially in 2022. It also talks about the hypocrisy of like getting annoyed about stealing culture when like skateboarding took from roller skating and took from surfing. It also touches on the waxing. Oh, but they are waxing everything. Lol, yeah, because some of them actually enjoy grinding more than the last 7 inches of a ledge. It kind of looks like for most skateboarders, it's like, yeah, whatever, soundos, some new gear that we can like buy into, a new video you can watch. Yeah, nice one. Like, there's always going to be like idiots everywhere, isn't there? I think on a base level it's really good and it's a little bit of a step forward. I don't think it's going to stop all the kind of hate that's existed. It's not going to erase it from the past or anything like that. But it's another sick collab along with like the Brain Dead one and the Clark's one, you know? Them skates are always like getting skating in front of new audiences and new eyes, and that's what you need. And it's another authentic one as well. Like, I don't think it matters how the collaborations came about too much. Like saying there was a rollerblader at Clark's, saying that like Kyle from Brain Dead used to rollerblade. So?
It doesn't matter!
Rollerbladers work in all sorts of industries.
It doesn't matter!
I bet you loads of them work in finance and work in banks. Like, we haven't got a deal with NatWest or anything, like a special rollerblader account or anything like that. If it wasn't a good business decision, none of these brands would have done it in the first place. Should have been like, oh, so you're a rollerblader, right? You like this rollerblading brand, do you? Oh yeah, we'll just sign off on that one. No!
It doesn't matter!
We've got to actually look into these things and make sure like it's going to benefit both sides. Like, there's a danger of me repeating myself here. The best thing about it is that it's authentic, like it fits in with our culture, just like the Brain Dead one and then the Clark's one did. Really nice, man, and I hope we get to see more of this in the future. Will you be grabbing these skates, and which collaboration's been your favourite so far? Cheers to all my patrons for supporting me, your name's on the board there. A couple of other videos you can watch. Thanks for watching this one. See you again soon, probably with a video on the Blade Cup. Spotty dog.